hear ye. Welcome to a very special episode of the Royal Geek Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Rollison, also known as T-Roll. And tonight, I'm joined by my very good friends. First of all, you know him, you love him, Justin Sandoval, a.k.a. Sandy. And, of course, the one and only Anthony Amato, who we like to call Shamato. Boys, excuse me, here we go. Very special episode. This is our 4-year anniversary show. Also happens to be our 300th episode. How amazing is that?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers to that one. Yep. Maybe you got some of that clinking, but yeah.
Yeah, that was the goal. Put it right next to your microphone. Yeah, man, we're here to celebrate tonight, boys. How we feeling?
I mean, it's surreal. 4 years, it kind of flew by, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that we're at 300 episodes. Like,
Yeah,
the idea
seriously.
that we've been doing it long enough and consistent enough to reach this milestone, is pretty crazy.
Think about that. We have talked into these microphones 300 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty crazy. We've set them up. There's been several nights with multiple pods, but we've probably set up these microphones close to 300 times, like in a night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or for the night when we would record.
Literally hundreds of hours of content.
It's crazy.
Right.
And we're no richer.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Where's all the money at?
Yeah.
Nah, we do it. We do it for the people. We do it for the culture.
For fun.
Yeah.
For fun.
We do it for our
Absolutely.
own personal gratification.
Yeah.
That's it.
We do it to hang out and avoid our wives, and I'm just kidding. No, well, actually,
None of them are going to
small
listen to
truth?
this, so
Small truth?
it doesn't really matter.
maybe mine might. My wife might listen, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But no, for real, man, this is a special moment for us. It's been a fun journey. It kind of comes at a nice time. Not that we're in like a drought of content.
Right. No, it's just in a little window.
Just a
small
tiny window.
window.
Little
Yeah,
lull.
it was just
So small.
literally perfect. Like we just finished X-Men. We're gonna do can I say what we're doing next week?
Sure, yeah. Plug it.
We're gonna do another Pokemon episode next week. We're gonna get
Yes.
the boys over from the Anime Pod, unite the kingdoms once more, have another great debate. Trevor's gonna hate me. There will be no Pikachu problems this time around.
We just need to figure out what Trevor's favorite Pokemon from Gen 2 is.
Yeah,
and
just downvote
annihilate
it.
it in the
Just
first round.
downvote it,
Yes.
He would walk out, I promise.
Absolutely. But yeah, we're going to have another special Pokemon episode for Gen 2 next week. And we are also, after that, the Acolyte show on Disney+.
Amazing, yeah.
It will be
Star
coming out.
Wars
So we got
content,
plenty
baby.
of stuff to talk about. But tonight we're doing something a little different. We're going to have a reflection episode, if you will. We've got a handful of listeners, handful of our friends, and some people who have been along with us in this journey who have sent in some of their favorite moments. So we're gonna answer a few questions. Really, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about a list of favorite moments that listeners have sent in. We're gonna reminisce a little bit. Favorite series that we've covered, favorite movie that we've covered. Some special requests for some retro reviews. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be fun.
I'm excited to reveal those to you guys. And then we're going to wrap it up with a handful of fun questions.
All right.
Which I think is going to be the best part of this pod. So before we get into all the fun, though, just want to shout out everybody who's tuning in. Remind you to please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Leaving us a review on Apple is the best way you can help us outside of just sharing the podcast with your friends. And also a comment on YouTube. Just any way to interact with us. We'd really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like I said, guys, we have a handful of responses. A handful of people told us what some of their favorite moments were. So I'm just going to read some of these things, and if we want to riff on them, we can. Okay. So I will admit that I got a surprising amount of shout outs on this first one.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah?
Good or bad?
Some good, some bad. Some that I'm proud of, and some that I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, for example, the first one, favorite pod moment. It's not a single moment, but we had someone who said, anytime T-Roll has to talk about time travel.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a recurring theme on our podcast
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
You do struggle.
I clock out, man.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
His mind's is a pretzel. when that happens.
It's just I'm like,
Oh, man.
once you guys start going, I'm like, y'all are talking about time travel right now, aren't you?
Yeah,
I can't.
my brain.
I can't wait for the next Nolan movie to be so heavily time travel.
Yes,
if
right.
it is, I don't know if it is or not, but
Yeah.
if I would love to have that because we're going to do an epic review on it, and
it's gonna
you're
be
going to
crazy.
be a toast.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, here's another fun one. This is good. Favorite pod moment. Someone said sweats fast food fiasco. So, well, take us down memory lane, Justin.
Okay,
For
yeah.
those who don't know what we're talking
Well,
about.
yeah, we decided to do a fast food bracket, and Sweat was a recurring member.
T-Sweat,
yeah,
yep.
T-Sweat.
At the time, he was
Yep.
he was one of the golden knights of the round table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was a recurring member, and he was off that week, and so we were like, let's do a bracket for all of T-Sweat's fast foods, and what did we get? We got a list full of fast food and fast casual.
You
When
could
we
just-
specifically said only fast food.
Yeah, you could just tell he didn't take it. Like the way he paired up certain matchups to be in the first round was like you could tell he was trying to get certain matchups.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Moe's and Chipotle shouldn't be on this list, but they were. They happened to be playing each other in the first round. It's like,
yeah.
what a coincidence, you know?
Yeah, I know, man. And the fiasco it caused, man, was insane.
Oh man, there was something else on it too, but I was just frustrated.
Oh, was a firehouse on there? Like I feel
think
or
it was
a
on there,
sub
something like that,
Some
yeah.
places on there.
It's possible. Yeah, definitely. There were some odd choices for sure.
Yeah, we crushed him.
It turned into like a roast.
Honestly, we kind of roasted him for like weeks after that, and I think somewhat of that shame ultimately led to his neglecting his post.
Yeah.
You say we shunned him out of here?
Yeah, what do they call it in Shogun when you
Seppuku?
Yeah, seppuku.
Turns out that gold was just gold plated.
Oh gosh, we love you, Sweat. I know you're listening out there. We miss you. Come back to
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
We
We'll get Sweat back on soon for sure.
Yeah.
But that was definitely a big moment for our podcast. That was a pinnacle moment for our podcast for sure. Okay, this one's fun. This is actually from our friend Jordan, who has been on the pod before. He said, selfishly, getting to come on for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles podcast, it was a lot of fun and a cool experience. So
Yeah, that episode you guys both bailed on me.
both
and so
both bailed. I
Yep.
don't remember what. I think I was out of town. If Shamato didn't do an episode, he must have been out of town or
sick or something. I
yeah,
don't know.
sick,
I don't remember.
maybe.
I'm not sure.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure what
but
it was.
Jordan and I, we held it down, and we had such a good we geeked out over Turtles. And the great part was that when Jordan showed up to my house, man, he had Ninja Turtle hat, and then he was rocking the short sleeve button up shirt with like checkered Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles faces on there. And
He got tattoos.
Oh yeah, his calf is Raphael, and it was phenomenal. I knew as second I saw him open that when I opened the door.
You knew it was game
I
time.
was like, oh yeah, we're rocking out tonight. It was so much fun.
Another one for favorite pod. Here's another shout. See, this is a good shout out for me. We got one person who said, anytime DC comes up, and Tyler's response. So literally
Yes.
the way I will just eviscerate DC in front of you guys.
Yeah, like,
Yes.
You'll
He
do it.
literally-
You'll do it unprompted. Like
I
you'll,
will. I will go out of my way to make a connection.
Yeah, he'll literally just troll us.
That's right.
Like, love it, T-roll. Gosh, man. Yeah,
It's
you,
all out of love, though.
yeah. Well, your love for hatred. Is what
All out of love. It's all out of love. Okay, I had another person write in and said, I can't point to one specific moment, but I enjoy the banter and the back and forth the most, hearing different opinions and theories on movies and shows and what may happen next is always my favorite part. Man, that's kind of like a
Dude, that was
good
that was,
synopsis
that
of
was a
what we
legit.
do.
That was a legit thing. Like,
Yeah,
we
dude.
need to use that for like our trailer. And thing. Like,
here's why you should listen to the Royal Geek podcast.
there you go. That's it.
That was actually well written. That was great.
I do appreciate that. That's great.
My boy Chandler, shout out. So that was awesome. Pretty sure that was him. All right, and then one last one, favorite pod moment. Again, I got another response here. I don't know what this is a reference to. When T-Roll roasted the villain group. Oh, from Miss Marvel. Oh, yeah, the clandestines or something.
Yes.
Is that
Oh
right?
yes, they were just so
and
bad.
and it also says, and also the Flag Smashers.
Oh,
I think
Yes.
I remember this because we had a whole. I don't even know if we did a full pod.
it
or
derailed our podcast by the
Dude.
tangent.
just had an idea.
Oh, go ahead.
A podcast where we rank like the worst villains
Ooh.
in the MCU.
MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah, go in
that's-
reverse.
That's going to be hard to narrow down.
That'd be fun.
There's so many.
Villains or villain groups.
Yeah.
Oh, because dude, the Flag Smashers and the Clandestines or whatever.
I mean, no, they're on there for sure.
they're on there for sure. But yeah, dude,
Aldrich
we
Killian
freaking
is for
crushed-
sure on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we crushed them for sure.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, that was brutal, man. That was brutal. I know. Even it sparked Shimado. Like Shimado got in the action too. Like throwing out
Yeah.
all the craziness.
Yeah, there were just so many. There were a lot of bad villains there, and they were just lifeless. Worse than being bad is they were lifeless.
Yeah. Shimano started throwing bows, man. Okay. This next category was favorite series that we covered. I just got to be honest with you guys.
Is it like unanimous?
Loki is all over this thing.
Okay.
Multiple Lokis.
Yeah.
Multiple Lokis. I think we had, 1, 2, 3, 4 people say Loki. One person specifically said Loki season 1 and in parentheses all caps, not 2.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'll give you one guess who that might be.
Gibbs.
Yeah, it was definitely Ryan.
Not. season
Yeah.
2. That's awesome.
A fellow guest of the pod and someone who's had a great impact on our content, I would
Yes.
say. We need to get some more Ryan's rants.
Yeah,
for sure.
Next Marvel series, whenever that is.
Yeah.
I mean, is he gonna watch the Acolyte?
Maybe.
So
I don't
maybe.
know if it's gonna hit the same as a Marvel movie
True.
or a show. But yeah,
I also don't know if
we
he's
need
in
some
I
rants.
don't know if he's in a Star Wars. Like, I gotta find out.
Yeah.
One person said Mandalorian.
Season 1.
Dude, that was
That's
early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an early callback.
Yep, early callback.
I love it. That's an OG listener.
Yeah,
right there.
no doubt. Also got an Andor.
Oh,
Dude,
okay.
yeah,
That's
Andor is legit.
Andor is fun.
Yeah,
So,
that was such a
I
fun
mean,
review.
Loki overall. I mean, just something that Tom Hiddleston inspires us.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, I feel like our Loki reviews have been, some of the best. I mean, just the way the show sparks so much discussion and theorizing, it's a blast.
Well, yeah, and then when you have like the horsepower of the actors, like with you had
Yes.
Jonathan Majors
Yeah.
in there, and then Tom Hiddleston himself, like it's
Yeah.
Owen Wilson.
Yeah,
come
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
How
think
can
just
you
the open-ended nature of it and the fact that you could literally do anything was like one of the
Yeah.
major reasons why Loki just,
Yeah.
Exactly.
there's so much fuel for the fire.
Yeah. I'll just never forget when Loki's in season 1 when he like finds he finds all the Infinity Stones and they're
Oh,
worthless.
in the drawer.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
paperweights. Yeah, most people use them for paperweight.
Yes.
So great.
Speaking back to Loki, so it's funny we had Gibbs who said Loki season 1, not season 2. Someone
Yeah.
else said Loki season 2. So I think Gibbs is in the minority on that one, but
Yeah.
I think he's used to playing that role
Yes.
when it comes to Marvel. So
Yeah.
that's okay. And then one more series that got a shout out was Rings of Power,
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
nice.
right? Which we will be reviewing season 2 coming up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year.
Yeah, later this year. So that was a lot of fun.
That was it. It felt bigger. Like it felt like a larger than life review when we were doing it at the time.
Yeah, well, at the time it was crazy because it was
busy.
and Andor.
Yeah.
were both happening at the same time.
Well,
Yeah.
and then there was a third.
Well,
one
we don't
there,
talk
too.
about the
Yeah.
third thing.
Yes, there was a third thing. I think one of the coolest things is like that shout out is that is probably out of all those shows that were listed is the most critically like split out of all of them.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, it was a lot of people were like down on it on that show in general.
Our feelings toward the show were like we're in the minority actually. To be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean,
because there were a lot of people, especially like
Hated it.
hardcore, like Lord of the Rings fans, that were just not about that life. But I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
that's why you
me too.
shouldn't read books because it makes you not enjoy shows and movies.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
pro book
from
burning.
Yeah, absolutely. Burn all the books. Okay, favorite movie covered. We had one
Okay.
person. We had one person who said The Marvels. Just
No
kidding.
way. Okay,
Yeah,
just
kidding.
say no.
It literally
mean,
says The Marvels. JK.
I mean, I could see that being favorite in the sense that we just
Just
like
destroyed it.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe so.
tore into it, just
Yeah.
like just really just lit into it.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Speaking of dead villains, no, just kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for real.
so bad.
Bad villains. But no, one movie that got a couple references was actually Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's actually if you go and look
Which-
at like our analytics, like that's in our top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like the longest, I think. Maybe it's either that or Tenet, longest review.
Yeah.
Oh no, well,
Well, the
our
Pokemon
one,
one,
but
yeah.
that
but in terms of reviews,
that was a collab. Yeah.
That was,
yeah. Either that or Tenet is our longest movie review.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta be. Yeah. So, No Way Home was special. We got a Blue Beetle.
What?
Oh,
we
yeah.
actually did.
We got a Blue
Interesting.
Beetle.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
And
Because I
said
think part of that's like we took the time to actually do that
Well,
movie.
and it was surprising too. Like,
Yes.
I mean, the emotion was real.
Yeah.
It was raw.
it says Blue Beetle for Justin's passion.
No, is that
Yeah,
serious?
dead serious. That's what that's what it says.
Hey, dude, I got to represent the
Yeah,
community,
man.
man.
I think that was Ryan as well. So
No, wow.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
even more of a shocker.
It is.
Let's see. We also got a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
That was pretty legit.
Yeah. Really good time on that one. Great movie. I
mean,
need to watch it again. To be
I
honest
mean, honestly, the trilogy, that's a solid trilogy, man.
Yeah.
It really is.
I mean, yeah, when you talk about like quality over all 3 films, it
Yeah.
might be like the best in the MCU right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Captain America's close, Spider-Man's close. I mean, Iron Man's way at the bottom just because 3.
Yeah. Thor's all over the place.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a good point actually.
I think
Yeah.
it is the best trilogy.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually, yeah, you're right.
Within the MCU, it's got to be. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
now if you count the Avengers movies, you could maybe make a. But in terms of just trilogy,
yeah,
3.
the
Yes.
3, yeah.
Yeah. Guardians was great. We also got Oppenheimer on here.
Ooh,
that,
yeah.
that was a good one. We
Yes.
went out of our way to go see the special
Yeah.
7.
Yes.
It was a night. That was a night.
Yes.
And
Dude.
I love when we can make our viewing
Was
experience.
that was a late showing too.
It
wasn't
was.
Yeah, it was like 11.
11 o'clock,
Yeah.
yeah. And there was
Yeah.
a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
And we went to Waffle House afterward.
No
It was-
trailers
yeah.
because they didn't have room for it.
That's true.
They're
Yeah.
crazy.
It was a good time. It
Yeah.
really was.
Yeah, Oppenheimer was an awesome movie. Really, I feel like
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan films are like
They're
just
an event in themselves.
exactly. They're moments.
Yeah.
They're moments.
Yeah. Oh no, that's true. Like he's creating events. Like
Yeah.
that's what he's doing.
Yes. Also got a Dune 2 shout out for favorite movie covered.
Ooh.
Yeah, which that's recent.
recent. That's recent.
Yeah, that is
Uh-huh.
quite recent.
We did enjoy that.
Yeah,
was
that was
had a
it was
great time.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal movie.
good. I think it was also a long one too. I think that was up in the like
You're
hour
right,
10.
I think
Yeah.
that was. I think that was a long one. It might have
Yeah.
been long, dude. I'm pretty sure it was longer than that.
Yeah.
We've gotten a little long-winded in our old podcasting age.
Yeah, it's like we don't care about if you're gonna listen or not. We just want to speak.
Yeah.
That's right. We just talk, man. We just talk. All right. Okay.
Get off my lawn.
All right, let's see. What else? Okay, so let's do. Let's talk retro reviews. We had some
Ooh.
special requests. All right.
Okay, yeah, these are they
So
want us to
I
review,
think
right?
we need to actually look. People wrote in to say this, so
Yeah.
we should actually try to do this
Yeah.
next time we have some lull time.
I mean, we always need podcast content, in the pocket because there are always those, random times throughout the year where we're in a situation where there isn't necessarily anything that's playing.
Or you have a week lull, 2 week
Yeah,
lull.
yeah.
and because of the writer's strike, like that's going to pick up. So we haven't
Yeah.
felt the full effects of that yet.
Yeah.
Although we've already
coming.
made it through one, and we've made it through COVID, so like we did a really good
Yeah.
job of covering stuff up.
Ooh. But
true.
yeah, we'll save these and we'll do these for sure.
All right, so you guys will love this one. It says all the old Batman movies. Now define old. Because
I mean, 89 and
that's what I'm. Yeah, that's what
I'm
I think.
assuming that because there was only one before that, and that was the Adam West
which
one.
that's not going to count.
But I would say the two Burton ones and Schumacher's as well.
oh, that actually would be fun to go
Yeah.
over the Schumacher ones, just
Yeah.
because the cheesiness and
It would be-
I want to see Tyrol's takes.
I
on
mean, there
those.
be some
That's
really,
what
there
it
be
is.
some
Tough for
interesting
me to watch
content.
old stuff, man.
It'd be some interesting
90s will be
content to
okay.
deal with, like the idea of like the shift in tone between the two directors. So that'd be really interesting to play at.
Yeah, the request actually says compare the different actors who've played the role. You could also do this with Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that'd be super cool too. Yeah,
Yeah.
noticed the DC content here. Do you
Yeah,
realize
I mean,
that
I
a
just
right now?
yeah, like when they used to be good, aged decades ago.
Yeah. Oh man, we just need to do and finish with like the Nolan trilogy just to
Oh,
have
man,
a
yeah.
nice cherry on top.
Yeah, for
That'd
sure.
that'd be fantastic. I'm okay
amazing.
for that.
Also, we had someone who said Star Wars Clone Wars series.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's some legit stuff in there.
Yeah.
Like especially just one moment that comes to mind is, like in season 7 when Ahsoka is just looking out on the graveyard. That hits hard.
We could do like arcs or storylines from Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Like, that would be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it would help T-roll out.
It says entire season his entire series or at least season 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
7's.
I mean,
pivotal.
honestly, what you could do if you want to spend the time, find out what those episode arcs are. Like, let's just say, for example, one thing I know of is like before you watch Bad Batch, you could watch certain episodes of Clone Wars
Yes.
or whatever. So
Yeah.
if you want to put in the work to figure out what is a good,
I mean,
Jumping point,
it'd be
yeah.
a cool, like, Ahsoka's kind of like the essentials to Ahsoka. And you throw
Right.
in, like, her major ones, even throwing that episode of Tales of the Jedi where she's training with Anakin.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That'd
that'd
be
be
great.
cool.
It's a great suggestion. Actually.
Yeah, good shout out for us to do a retro review there. Okay, how about this one? The original Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck and
Ooh.
Jennifer
Ouch.
Garner.
That'd be interesting.
I haven't watched that in so long.
Yeah,
It's
I've
so
never
long.
watched it.
Ooh. Okay. Well,
Yes.
that's all the more reason to do it.
Follow up with Elektra.
Oh no, I don't know if I can do that. I remember
Yes.
hating that movie.
Yeah, that movie was awful. Like I was like, you know what? Maybe Daredevil wasn't so bad after watching Elektra. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Michael Clark Duncan as
Kingpin.
Kingpin was super cool seeing him there. Yeah.
Okay. Someone else said maybe even retro versions of Marvel characters. So this is kind of an addition to like just what we said, Daredevil being one of them. So maybe like the old Blade.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Right.
Actually,
Yeah.
that might be
Older-
cool to review before the new one.
Dude,
movie
we should
comes
watch we should review the old Nick Fury movie.
out. Oh, with Hasselhoff.
Yes.
Yes.
That'd be interesting.
With his eye
yeah.
patch.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. That'd be kind of good.
I mean, that'd be an interesting trilogy to do with Blade. Especially you
Go back and review the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
We could
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
The old Thor movies, the
Oh gosh.
old Hulk movies.
I mean, you even do like just Spider-Man in general. Like once again do the same thing that we would potentially do
Yeah.
with Superman and
Batman.
because that's really the only Marvel character that you could kind of do that with. In the live action verse, because that's the only one that's really been played by
Right. Multiple.
I mean you got the Hulk, who's been played by 3 people as well. But I don't feel there's as much substance there,
Yeah.
as you would have with the Spider-Mans.
Yeah. But yeah, that'd be fun.
No, that's a good suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
doing different retro reviews of really just retro reviews of any of any of these superheroes, whether it's Marvel, DC,
pre MCU because
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, pre MCU.
maybe like pre MCU and pre Nolan verse would be because like that's
a
the
good-
best
that's a
of
good-
each
yeah.
company, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
At
best
that
of
time,
DC
yeah.
and the best of Marvel. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna love this one. How about the Mighty Ducks?
Oh, that'd be an
Honestly,
interesting one.
yeah.
All 3 movies.
Yeah. Why not? And then the show on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Episodic breakdown.
Yep. This is I believe this is from Jordan. and-
Okay.
And he actually said, "And please let me join for these episodes."
Yes.
Yeah. Dude, I remember
quack,
watching
it's-
these
dude.
so much.
Quack. Quack.
This is slow. Quack. 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 Dude, it was hype, man.
Knuckle puck, baby.
The
Yeah.
Bash Brothers.
Yep, Bash Brothers. I mean, like Keenan Thompson's character, who I personally believe is the Mighty Ducks version of Mr. T from Clubber Lang from Rocky 3. Like, legitimately, I think he's the exact same character.
Wow.
Like,
That's funny.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen those movies. I would really like to get back.
That
in.
would be fun.
That'd be
okay,
cool. That'd be
and
cool
then-
retro.
And last one for a retro review before we answer some hot questions.
Okay.
You're gonna love this. Back to the Future.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah,
it needs
that
to.
would be
It needs
phenomenal,
to,
yeah.
because you need to watch a
Because I've never watched it.
80s movie. So
Yeah. I get it. They went to the future and they time traveled and it's whatever, you know.
Well, first they go to the past.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Time travel.
Yes, honestly, just for you and your screwy mind, it's a must.
Yeah, well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make T-Roll drink a 6-pack, and then we're gonna watch Back to the Future.
Yes. Oh yes.
No,
Honestly, that makes sense. That's a great one.
yeah,
Just to get you to focus on an '80s movie would be fantastic.
Hey, Jurassic Park was on today when I came home, and I sat down and watched a few minutes of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's 3?
Yeah,
That's a
93.
long time, dude. That's
Yeah.
a long time ago, bro. It's 31 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm
But the
1 year
quality
older
doesn't
than that
look-
movie.
The quality does not look like it's like an old movie.
Oh yeah, like they. It
No, that's
is-
true.
It is super
Yeah.
solid.
Well, I mean, I guess that's true. Anyways, all right. The part that we're really excited about.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of questions. So some people who weren't able to answer all of those categories, we were able to get a lot more questions than we had normal responses. So we've got some exciting things to talk about here. They're all over the place. I guess I could try like
And what's the category again? Like, what is this?
so it says a question that needs answering.
Okay.
Whether it's in the geek world or specifically for the pod.
Okay.
Okay, now if I was a better host, I would have these categorized. That would save us some mental energy.
Some jumping around.
Yeah, but I'll try my best to, like maybe I'll look for the Marvel ones first. I know there's a lot of Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one. Will T. Sweat ever return?
Ooh, what a question.
No.
Your chair's over here, buddy. We got to save for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
No. He'll come back at some point. He had this thing called a child, and it took him away from the podcast.
Yeah.
That'll happen.
So, but yeah, we'll get him on. He's been on at least once since he left officially, right? Maybe even twice. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if he returns my text messages, he'd be on more. But
Yeah.
That's true.
He's ghosted me. So
That's true.
Still love you though, Sweat. Don't worry.
Favorite Sweat story is still when he was running late. We were watching Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yes.
He's-
Yes.
He's running late to the movie theater.
Premiere night.
And he literally sends a text. He's like, I'm running late. I'll be there about 15 minutes late, but it should be fine. I'm just going to miss the trailers.
Yeah.
Which, on any other night,
Any other night.
watching a movie in a movie theater, he'd be right.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, at this movie theater, on that occasion, the person in the control room, whatever, didn't have trailers.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
movie just started right at this specific
Yep.
start
And
time.
he missed possibly the
only
best,
good part of
the
the
movie.
best part
Yeah.
of the movie. Yeah.
Just the insanity because I don't know, like. I mean, how many times had it ever
Like
actually
Shimano,
happened?
yesterday we sat through
30
35
minutes,
minutes of trailers.
Oh yeah, I straight up ranted on Twitter one time for like relatively reason because we went to go see an animated movie that was like a not less than a 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
And there were 30 minutes of
Trailers.
trailers before it, and I was like, the ridiculousness of that being that much of the showtime.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. That's poor Sweat.
So there are two questions that are very similar. So we'll start here. It's Marvel related. There's going to be a bunch of Marvel questions. Obviously, we've talked more Marvel on this podcast than anything else. If you ran the numbers,
Yeah.
that'd actually be fun to look into. But anyways, first one is two questions that are similar. Will Marvel get back on track? And this one says, will Marvel ever be great again? Make Marvel great again.
Oh,
Am I
man.
right? All right, there you go. That's the hot question for you guys.
Oof. If they were going to get back on track, it would have to be in July. And if this next movie, Deadpool and Wolverine, is a flop, I would be seriously concerned for the future of this franchise.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, especially because there's a lot of weight on this movie because of the fact that, it's Deadpool's first MCU movie. It's Wolverine's first MCU movie. It's literally the first real entrance of X-Men into the MCU.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that so far, the last entry for Wolverine was phenomenal.
Yeah, right. We don't need him anymore. We don't need him anymore. He was great.
And both of the entries for Deadpool have been phenomenal. So it's gonna be very telling where they're on this path. Also, I just think that overall with Marvel, I think It's a good sign that they seem to finally start to understand that just jamming content in front of our faces may not be their best option, and focusing more on quality over quantity.
Yeah, which we saw the tweet earlier this year from Iger, and
Yes.
he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna slow down with 2
Yeah.
to 3 Marvel property a year, which we're only getting one this year. So, well, if you
Well,
count
one movie.
X-Men, one movie, and
And I thought, is it Agatha this year?
I think it is. Yeah.
oh,
I'm pretty sure we
one
get
show.
one show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so there you go.
I'm pretty sure.
That'll be the 2,
Yeah.
for the year. Which Agatha all along they were
Yes.
toying with us through the whole entire thing with changing the name, changing the title, which I do believe was on purpose to finally reveal that the final title is Agatha all along.
Yeah.
So, which made sense. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a little.
Clever.
That's a little testament to Marvel potentially getting back on track, that they're able to play with the fans. Like,
Yeah.
that was one of the best feelings, was when they could,
Yeah.
some fan service.
Still
Like,
surprise you, from here and there. You know.
So I will say, I get what you're saying. Excuse me, getting all choked up talking about Marvel.
the good old days.
Yeah, that's right. Back in my day. I get what you're saying about Deadpool Wolverine needs to be a hit. Although I feel like it's kind of a lazy approach or a lazy answer. So sorry, but let me tell you why. Even though Phase 4 and 5, it's been 2 phases since Endgame, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though there's been a lot of hot garbage, there has been a few standalone movies that have been really
Great,
good,
yeah.
really
Yeah.
great, really
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
So it's just like, even if Deadpool and Wolverine crushes it, it shouldn't necessarily give any of us like a okay, they're back. I think what we need to see that Marvel is
string.
great again is a string.
Yeah.
Is a streak, a hot streak. I'm not necessarily saying they've got to do it like they did in, Phase
Winter Soldier.
everything from Winter Soldier
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Right. Literally grand slam after grand slam after grand slam after grand slam. But I think we need Agatha to be great as
do.
well.
We do need
and
that.
whatever the
Yeah.
next movie is needs to be great. And they've got to nail. They have to nail whatever sort of damage control they're gonna do about Kang. They've got to nail it.
Yeah.
And if that means they scrap it and they go something else, that's fine. But they have to nail it.
Yeah.
This next,
Major villain.
major
arc.
problem that they have to solve has to be good.
Yeah.
So that's my theory.
And
My
like one
thoughts.
last addition to that, hopefully one thing that will be a driving force for Marvel will be them having that, across the aisle competition from DC.
Yeah.
Like
make it
them
better.
seeing like James Gunn potentially putting up something, so they know that they can't just throw, random crap.
true. Yeah, that's true.
And that, there is something else out there to judge against, hopefully quality wise.
Yes. Totally agree.
Competition sparks creativity. So
Totally agree. So yeah, while I'm very excited about Deadpool Wolverine, I wouldn't say that. Like, I think your point is like half true. Like, ultimately, it has to be good for me to have any hope.
yeah.
But even if it's good, I don't think we should just say, okay, Marvel's back now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely. I think we were more
part of
getting
it.
at the fact that if it flops, then that is a huge red
that-
flag.
that I agree with.
Massive red flag.
Yeah,
that
I
I do
think
agree
it's
with.
more that side than if it's good. It's not necessarily like.
Yeah.
We're all the way
But I
in.
just,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just know, like, on this podcast, at least you and me, mainly you, Justin, have, like, I remember when Black Panther Wakanda Forever came out, you're like, is Marvel back? Marvel's back, guys. And then, like, since then, when, like, we had, like, Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I think
my.
She-Hulk, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so we can't just make these declarative statements anymore, I don't think.
Yeah,
You know?
we got to be more on our toes. And
We do.
more discerning with the content that's coming
Yeah,
out.
yeah. So, okay, speaking of Marvel, again, a lot of these are Marvel. We're going to start here. Deadpool Wolverine's coming up.
It is.
So, first question will be, I guess, well, yeah. Do you guys think it'll live up to the hype?
Honestly, I think yes, because
Star power?
star power. Yeah, Ryan
Yeah,
Reynolds
for
and
sure.
Hugh Jackman are
How could it not,
some
right?
of the
Yeah.
greatest actors of our time. Like, honestly, like Hugh Jackman, not only like the Wolverine character, but Hugh Jackman in almost every role he does. Like what other actor has all the tools? He's a 5-tool person. Like that's him. I mean, he can sing, he can dance, he can act really well. Like he
Did you
is.
just make a baseball reference?
I sure did. And that's for you. I looked directly at
Amato.
Shimado too when I did that.
Did you
too.
feel the love, Amano?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like Hugh Jackman, like he just has it all. I mean, dude, Greatest Showman is still one of my favorite
Yeah.
movies. Like
It
just
is-
because
yeah, phenomenal.
Hugh Jackman is great in that movie. The songs are amazing. But Ryan Reynolds, like he's a comedy timing is genius, dude.
Yeah.
Absolute genius.
Yeah, he's phenomenal with that. I do think with how deep they are into their characters, like how much knowledge they have about and know the space of their characters, I just think it's going to be, it's going to live up to the hype.
yeah.
Okay. Speaking on Deadpool Wolverine, I think one thing that could help it live up to the hype is we know this is a continuation of to some extent, of the multiversal, theme.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, because of that, this is a question we got. What is the best guess on the number of cameos in Deadpool Wolverine? And which cameos would leave you most shocked or you most excited to hopefully see? Maybe some predictions on cameos.
Okay.
Here.
Well, I think before we go even see the movie, I think we need to set a line, a spread, like over under 11 and a half. Like,
Okay.
I mean, from the trailer alone, there's at least 8 cameos. So,
Jeez.
like seriously, we need to set like a line.
What are those 8?
Azrael.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. Oh yeah, Ant-Man.
yeah,
Ant-Man
the
Skull.
Ant-Man.
I'm trying to think of it's mainly X-Men people. Gosh, well, I'm blanking on all their names now. I wasn't prepared for that. Sorry. They're all in the X-Men last. Oh, Pyro's in there. I don't remember.
I think also interesting is like the idea of how many what can consist of a cameo.
Oh, X-23, she's in there too.
Like in the idea of is it just like a pan shot and there's like 30 X-Men in the
Yes, that counts. That would count. Yeah, I would count that.
So that's pretty crazy then. Like because there could just be like hey, there's gonna be a ton. I would love to see. I mean. If that's the number, like I think that number has to be like 15, like
So
over under
setting
15.
Okay. I mean, I'd be willing to place a little wagers on this.
15 and a half?
Yeah.
We should do that. Let's do 15 and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
15 and a half.
All right. We'll keep it. And we'll probably we're teasing the idea of maybe do a Deadpool Wolverine preview pod.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple weeks out before the movie. So
Basically, preview and / recap of Deadpool, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And Wolverine where he's at, like, and then
Right.
leading into,
Right. Yeah. That'll be good. Man, I'm so excited. And again, like back to the whole, like if you have one movie a year or one or two, it just feels more important. Like
Yeah.
this is a big deal. Like we have to be there
Yeah.
for this movie.
Correct.
Yep.
We have to be there for this movie. So
Yeah.
really, really excited for it. All right.
Well, there was one add-on question there where it said, "What cameo would we be most
oh
surprised
yeah,
for?"
yeah,
right?
that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
right.
so here's my thing. You ready for this?
Let's hear it.
There's been a lot of chatter of a certain actor getting signed on for a Marvel project, but then nobody has said anything about this. But I think,
Taylor Swift.
No.
Giancarlo?
Maybe.
No. I'm Henry Cavill in some sort of role.
Oh,
No.
It's
way.
as an X-Men character or somebody. I have
Yeah.
a feeling if we see Henry Cavill in Deadpool and Wolverine, that's my biggest thing.
No.
that would be awesome. I would love to, like, I don't know. The first thing that came to mind was, what if we get like Cap, like something
yeah.
like in
From the good old days, are you talking about?
just something along those lines, like just like him just show up and there'll be something there for him. And I don't know, maybe it's just because of the fact that he was just in X-Men '97.
What if Deadpool's like bouncing through universes and he catches Cap returning the stones? He's like, where are you putting that? Where you, like,
Yeah,
like-
exactly. Yes.
yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
good.
Or we get a language reference, like Deadpool says something. He's like language.
That'd be great.
Language.
That would be incredible.
I think the cameo Shimada wants is Magneto. Fassbender.
Ooh,
Ooh,
yeah.
that would be phenomenal.
So
Ooh, what
awesome.
about Fassbender having a conversation with Ian McKellen? How incredible would that be?
That would be
that'd
insane.
so cool. Yes, that'd be amazing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I just again like, and then I think the last trailer ends with them jumping through what's clearly like a
Yeah.
Doctor Strange portal,
Yeah.
Correct,
right?
yeah.
So
So Dr.
we
Strange,
know it's
yeah.
gonna. Yeah, I mean that one should be.
Or
although
Ned.
it could be
Could be
Could be
Wong.
Ned.
It could be Ned. You're right.
gosh.
It's gonna be Doctor Strange. Let's be real. It's got to be.
Or Wong.
It could be Wong.
Wong
Could be
would
Wong.
fit.
Yeah,
Wong would
he
fit.
is.
Yeah.
He is technically the
Sorcerer Supreme.
Sorcerer Supreme.
I think Wong would
still
make
threw me
Wong
off.
would probably be a little bit easier to put into
Can I?
than I think Doctor Strange. But yeah,
Side note about Wong when they made him Sorcerer Supreme. Did anyone else think like, oh, that means his days are numbered?
A little bit, yeah.
I was like,
Oh.
they're clearly gonna kill him off at some
yeah,
point.
because I mean,
It's gotta be
has to
strange.
be it has to
Yeah.
be strange, you
Yeah.
know.
He was meant to be the best of us.
Yes, or I don't know. Maybe they're just saying like maybe that just isn't the path they want for Strange in this universe, you know.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. Okay.
Gotta love Marvel tangents.
Yeah, should we split up the Marvel or just keep going?
Let's do a little break from Marvel.
Take
Let's
a
do
break.
yeah.
Come back.
All right.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna tee up Shamato on this one because I've heard him say this before. I don't know if he said it on the pod, but for the people, Shamato, they want
right.
to know. I know. I've heard you say this off the pod before. We had a question that said, "How should Game of Thrones actually have ended?"
Ooh.
I know he's got strong feelings.
Now,
about
careful.
this.
What you say, George R. Martin could use it for the book that he hasn't yet
Yes.
to finish.
Who
so-
knows? So, I mean, I think one of my biggest changes that I would have made would have been the reveal of Jon Snow as a Targaryen. Because essentially, I mean, it's kind of relatively left under wraps.
Spoilers, by the way.
About him being a Targaryen in the series.
Yeah.
But one of the coolest things that would have been where they're meeting in the meeting room and basically to show another moment of Daenerys just like going mad. She essentially turns on Jon and she has her dragon just like light him up. And then he just kind of walks through the flames, and that's like the
moment.
and like
So amazing.
there's more, and there's a lot more
Goosebumps.
people in the room, so they literally see him walk
Targaryen.
through, and as he comes up, he just like knives her, and that's how it goes.
Yes.
Like that's how she goes down.
And
That's
would that
how
ear-
he.
Would that also like earn the respect of the dragon too? Of like,
Yeah, like
Drogon?
essentially, like in basically the dragon would, you know, but to either just run off, like fly off, be its own thing, or
or
you know,
acknowledge him as
yes,
the rightful
a-
king.
as a Targaryen,
Yeah.
and you know,
Well, which she's the rightful king.
yes,
so.
yes, yeah, and he is the rightful king. So I think that would be one of the coolest things. You know, and someone other than Bran being the king at the end, I think is another person. I would have loved to seen like. That one's kind of hard for me. I'm not sure exactly who I would want to
Tyrion,
be
like,
king.
I feel like Tyrion would be.
I mean, Tyrion would have been a decent king. That would have been interesting.
The reason I say that is because it's like just the character development that he went through from season one
Yeah.
until the current season, like the final season. Like I feel like just what he's experienced and what he's gone through, I think would allow him to be a just
A very
king.
good,
Yeah.
a very good king. But I mean, I think he would have been great as like, you know, Jamie probably would have been. I think he would have been a very interesting
Great
king.
character development.
Yeah.
And Tyrion as his
The
hand.
hand. Yeah, he might be better off as a hand. Yeah,
and
you're right.
Cersei, you know, just being gone.
Yes.
'Cause I always thought like
know.
Sansa being the king of the North or the queen of the North would have been super cool. She ends up. I feel like that was like her, like that is her place. Like I feel like that.
Would you still have Jon Snow walk away from the throne? Like
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would
think
too. I think that was a perfect
that's.
ending.
I
Perfect
think
ending.
that's him.
Yeah.
Like that.
He doesn't want
He
it.
never
He never
wanted
wanted
it.
it.
He
Yeah.
never wanted the crown. He only took up the king of the North because it was absolutely necessary
Yeah.
in that moment. So there's a bunch of other little things that I would have liked to have seen change in season 8, but yeah, like it is hard. I'm not sure exactly who I would want to necessarily be,
Yeah.
truly the king. But there have been a bunch of like, things that would have been cool to see. I mean, letting Arya just kind of like, go wherever she wanted to go. Like let her just, be a faceless man wherever she wanted to be.
Yeah. Very good.
That's good. Here's another Game of Thrones question for you that I'm curious.
All right.
This is me coming up with this, Shamato. We often talk about, and we have said it, how with Endgame, with Avengers Endgame, there's nothing like it. There's never been anything like it. There were other big movies that have premiered, but there was something truly incredible about Infinity War Endgame.
Yes.
The year you wait. Those premiere nights, there was nothing like it.
Cinematic
right?
event.
It was
Yeah.
an event. It was a true moment. I know they're different because one's a movie, one's a series that you watch at home. How close was the significance of the week-to-week release of really the end of Game of Thrones, like that last season and the what they call it, the long night or whatever
Yeah.
that is, right? Like how close was that moment for just fan culture, discussion online? Again, you're watching in your own home, but millions and millions and millions of people are watching it.
I do think it was one of the largest like nerd moments in probably the last 20 years on TV.
Well, they were breaking a lot of like viewing
Yes,
records.
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And just like the idea of it coming to an end at that point, you probably thought that there might be a spinoff or something like that, but as far as you knew, this was like the end of the characters. Like, the storyline was being finished off. Also, to throw one more thing back to the question that we were talking about, Brienne of Tarth as the head of the Kingsguard would have been super cool.
Oh yeah, that would
Like
cool.
that.
Oh
would've been
yeah,
super cool.
that's right.
But
I think speaking
Yeah.
of it being a moment, like I think I would like chime in real quick. Like my old job, we worked with like if you had an event going on, you were definitely where I was at in retail. And every Sunday afternoon, and people were in buying. Oh yeah, we got our Game of Thrones watch party tonight.
Buying
Yes.
chips
And it was
and
like
dip
chips, dip, beer. Like
Yeah.
it was all in on
Right.
Game of Thrones.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we were having like cakes decorated in like
Yeah.
House Stark or Lannister. Like it was
Yeah.
it was like you were in it.
Like it was a moment. It was
yeah,
special.
I will say that's the only show that I can think of in the recent times that would have watch parties.
Yeah. It's true actually.
You know, especially because I mean, a lot of stuff, a lot of the big stuff has changed to like streaming.
Yeah. Well, it's right around when COVID hit too. Like close to when COVID hit.
Yeah.
a couple
too,
years
so.
before, I think.
Yeah. Well,
But the only thing that I remember watch parties being crazy like that were The Walking Dead. But
Yeah.
I think this was eclipses The Walking Dead,
Yeah.
obviously.
yeah.
But there was a time when The Walking
There
Dead
was a period where
Yeah.
Walking Dead was
People did that
essentially
too.
like
Yeah.
the biggest show on
Must
television
watch
too.
TV.
Yeah.
everyone has to be here at this time.
Like the
to watch
Negan
it
moment
live.
was like it took over. Like,
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's one thing I always admired about. Like, I remember. So, we're Atlanta United fans,
Yes.
which is a really prestigious soccer club in Major League Soccer (MLS). We've lost like half of our listening audience right there. Just me talking about
Major League
MLS.
Soccer.
Yeah, MLS. But I remember they had a big game on a Sunday night, and I wasn't watching Game of Thrones, but at the time. But our captain got on Twitter and he was like, we got a big game tonight, and they were on the road. I don't know if anyone's got any plans tonight, and he's clearly alluding to
Game of Thrones.
But feel free to turn on the game. We'll be playing, and we could use your support. And he knew exactly what he was doing. But it was just a reference, like everybody was talking about it.
Yeah, the awareness.
So it was different because Endgame was everyone's together.
Yes.
Right. So you're not.
Well, and speaking of the MLS crossover with Game of Thrones, like how many times have you seen like Joseph Martinez and the big crowd banners of him sitting on the throne and like
That's true. Yeah, that's
in
true.
in the stadium.
The
So,
king, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. Now, there's another question. This is way more broad, but I think this is going to be fun. What is your favorite thing you have gotten to discuss since starting your podcast?
Ooh,
That is tough.
honestly, it is tough.
Almost think of and I guess you could say favorite review or maybe favorite podcast or
Yeah.
idea or whatever.
I mean, I've always enjoyed our bracket episodes. I
Okay.
think when we started introducing those, I don't know, just being able to talk about random like, for example, like when we did our Marvel DC one, that was a fun one. Like we literally paired them up, and just being able to have that kind of conversation, and then doing fast food brackets and like
Yeah, that was fun.
Dude, the French fry bracket, man. Why can't
Yeah.
a fry just be a fry, man? Like for real, like dude.
Getting behind the curtain, there was quite a heated discussion about how these fries should be served, what was going into it, what can
And
you, what
Shimada
can't you dip
would
into.
not let us have Frosties.
No,
You remember
yeah,
that?
I remember that.
He was
yeah.
defiant.
He was
We
dead
almost
set on that.
lost him, dude. He almost quit the
Yeah,
pod.
because the Wendy's fry goes a long way with this paired with the Frosty.
Goes
Yeah.
a long way.
Long way. Yeah, but the brackets have been fun.
That's good, that's good.
I've thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah.
What about you
Shimano, what
guys?
about you, man? You got anything?
I mean, if I were to do like favorite like thing we did, I mean, I would have to say like Andor was just like so amazing. Like specifically like one movie or TV show, like it was so great, and it was so cool seeing like this grounded universe, and and on top of the fact that I think at that point I wasn't sure how to feel about it going in. Like it looked really cool, but I wasn't sure about this character named
Totally
Andor.
Yep.
Like who was I mean he was a main character in
the movie, yeah.
in Rogue One, but I wasn't sure if he was like he
How are
wasn't
they
really
gonna
the
build
most
a whole-
interesting character.
I remember how are they going to build
He
a
was
whole
not,
show
yeah.
on him?
Yeah.
I remember thinking that, and they blew us away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like being a leading man, like Diego Luna being a leading
Yeah.
man, like that's
I think Andor is still probably. I think there's a question on here. Something that surprised you the most? Yeah, maybe it says maybe one plot twist, so that's a little different. But we can get to that later. But I think Andor is still probably the show that really surprised me more than anything.
Yeah.
Like I remember thinking, like, yeah, it'll probably be good, but it could be the best thing we've reviewed on this entire podcast ever. Like
Oh, yeah.
Very possibly.
the whole series of Andor was sensational.
Yeah.
Maybe X-Men '97 gives it a run because it was also
honestly, yeah.
it was also really good. But yeah, I remember being blown. I remember being blown away by it. Exceeded my expectations more than anything else.
Yeah.
Man, there's so many things I could say. Two that come to mind, and I'll try to be quick. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Yes.
the final
Yeah,
season, which was
yeah.
our first review,
We
really.
kicked it off, yeah.
Yeah,
The podcast.
because there was nothing to watch, and we had that for like 13 straight weeks. And it was still we were watching on ABC.
Yeah.
It wasn't streaming. You had to watch it on. You know what I'm saying? It was just different back then. man.
Remember watch parties in my basement for a
Yep.
few of the episodes.
Yep.
Oh,
watch
gosh.
parties together.
R.I.P. basement. R.I.P.
And then yeah, that's right. And then honestly, favorite favorite thing we got. It's not even that we. Okay, the whole and we haven't done it that often, but the whole premise of the Jester reviews.
Oh man.
Because we sat down and did a whole watch along thing, and we recorded ourselves,
Yeah,
and
we
then YouTube
video.
crushed us.
Yeah, YouTube
Yes.
destroyed us.
Oh yeah, that Marmaduke
Yeah.
review was
just-
Although I will say Jiu-Jitsu was so fun.
That's what I'm saying. We
Like-
have to do this more.
Yeah.
Like, just hanging out with you guys and watching a bad movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that we can make that a more of a regular occurrence the years to come. Like,
Yeah.
like this, maybe we'll continue in the next dead spot. We'll do it. Like
yeah.
that was
yeah,
fun.
and then honestly, what's the one we just watched? It was Madam Web.
yeah.
No,
dude.
yeah,
Dude, it's still the score on Rotten Tomatoes is still dropping. But yeah, I think something I've really enjoyed doing with you guys is just anytime we're watching something together. So whether it's a Jester review or if we're like, hey, the series finale of the show, we're gonna
Yeah.
watch it together. So, and then we'll review after. Like that's the most fun for me.
Yeah,
for sure.
that's great, man.
Yeah. Okay. I know what I'm gonna say to this one, and I'll go first. What is the top? And it's obvious. What is the topic you dread when you see it in something you're going to review? Obviously, for me, we've already addressed this. Is time travel. But I do wonder if you guys have anything for that. A topic that when you see we're gonna review it, you're watching a movie or a show and you're like, oh gosh, we're gonna have to talk about this. Is there anything that bugs you guys?
I mean, the biggest thing I would say is like there are certain topics that you can see from a mile away, and they're going to be terrible, and you're just kind of like, oh. Like, you gotta like review it, but and there is that like gray area where like is this going to be so bad that it's actually fun to watch, or is it just going to be bad?
Yeah.
You know, or like the destroying of like a classic character is kind of like something that you're like that's going to be something that is not going to be fun.
That's a good point. I mean, I think mine's on a similar topic there. It's like being hyped for a movie that's coming out in like maybe a couple weeks, and you're like looking forward to doing that review, and then you watch it, and then it just wasn't what you had thought it was going to be, and then therefore like your mood when you get onto the podcast is shifted a little bit.
Yeah.
You went from like,
Yeah.
oh, this is gonna be the greatest movie ever, into like,
Thor: Love and Thunder.
yeah, that's the one that comes to mind when I'm thinking about
Exactly.
this, man. Like
Exactly.
it was just we were so excited.
Yeah.
We got Taika back again on the helm. We got like Gore the God Butcher, like potential there.
Yeah, yeah,
Christian Bale.
Yeah,
and then
even Russell Crowe,
Yeah.
and
Star power.
it just didn't live up to it, man.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
didn't live up to it. So yeah, that's always frustrating.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. Okay. Has there been a draft that you've done that now that time has passed, you would pick something or someone different?
That's an interesting one.
like, has anyone like gained on you?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we did something with, like we did a Star Wars one where we did like non-wielding characters, like
Force,
non-force
sensitive. Yeah.
And I mean, I wouldn't say like
Andor, right?
like Andor has like I said, that's
Yeah,
where I
that's
was
a good
going
point.
with that.
Very
Like,
good point.
like
That's a good
it's added some
Yeah.
some extra like layers to the possibility of some of those characters.
We did a Marvel Heroes draft,
Yeah.
and I honestly would put Cyclops on the list now.
Yeah.
And he was on none of our lists. So
Yeah, I don't think he was.
Yeah.
I would put Cyclops up there.
Yeah.
Which
That's good,
honestly,
man.
that's a huge change.
Or even
good
like
shout.
Rogue. Like Rogue would be
Yeah.
it would take a step up for me as well.
That's good. This isn't a draft, but it's a bracket. But I think I'd probably vote for Pikachu over Articuno.
That's for Trevor. Oh my gosh.
That's for you, Trevor. Okay.
Almost destroyed a friendship.
That actually might be worse.
Friendship,
Like
we're not
like the
friends.
idea like the revisionist history of it might actually be worse
Yeah.
for him now
Exactly.
knowing that.
Just wait until next week, man.
Yes.
Just wait until next week.
Because he's not listening to this.
No,
episode.
for sure. But I'll say it. I'll probably even open next week's pod. Be like, you know what? If I go back in time,
Yeah.
I'd probably do things a little differently.
That'd be great.
Okay. Let's see. If you had to start it all over, what's one thing you would do differently?
I would learn how to do the video podcast better, so we can
Yeah.
keep it going, and potentially like be better on YouTube.
Yeah, we kind of got lazy with the video.
Editing was just too crazy, man.
Yeah, it's just a lot of editing. You know, we don't do this full time.
Yeah.
We don't get
No.
paid anything for this. This is a hobby. So we kind of, and I know that I led the charge on that. Like, I just got kind of tired of having to do it. And I think the quality is better when we're not having to. The way we set up our videos,
Yeah.
like we've got to turn our heads.
But we didn't want to spend money on
Yeah, we-
a lot of the good stuff that you
Yeah.
need.
Exactly,
Like, so
yeah.
we tried to do like minimal camera angles and that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah.
So
we're cheap. We're broke.
Yeah.
We embrace it.
yeah, exactly. But no, that's what I would do differently. I would try to figure out that better.
Yeah. I wonder if there's anything I would do differently. Shimano, is there anything you would do differently?
Not had the draft in the background on the one day on one of our very first podcasts.
Oh, the NFL
yeah.
draft.
Yes.
Draft.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Justin was a little distracted that night, huh?
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I'd do differently. I think we bought some decent equipment for when we started.
Yeah.
And dude, they're
Yeah.
still rocking.
Yeah, we're
Only
due
had
for an
like
upgrade.
one. Yeah, we are. That's true. We only had like one problem. So if anyone wants to donate to the podcast and help us upgrade, we definitely need to get some new
Yeah.
microphones at some point.
Well,
so.
what we need is really like a switchboard. So
Yeah,
that's
we do.
what we really need.
Yeah, if anyone wants to donate
Yes.
like a roadcaster, that'd be cool.
Feel free to DM us. We'll give
Yeah,
you
yeah,
the address to send it to. Yeah,
Well, we can write it off as a tax write off.
yeah.
Let's see. Is there? Okay, all right. How about this? Is there anything that surprised you most? So we mentioned this earlier, and I said for me it was like Andor really surprised me.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
good it was.
Yeah.
Or a biggest plot twist, or one that you thought you would hate but you actually loved. Is there any surprises that?
I think fairly recent. I think one of the biggest surprise for me was Blue Beetle.
Yep.
I know we got a shout out from Gibbs on that being one of the movie reviews, but
Yeah.
I think like for me, I mean the DCEU was dead at the time, and then this was supposed to be like the last DCEU, and then like weeks before it gets picked up as like, oh, he's actually a DCU character now.
Yeah.
And so then like you go into the movie and it's actually enjoyable, it's actually entertaining, and you can see the character like really like come into his own.
Is he gonna be DC's Iron Man?
No, no. I don't think that. I think he will. I mean, he might be like the Ant-Man, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah,
he could be Spider-Man.
he could be Spider-Man. Yeah. But it was surprising on the quality of that movie for me. Like I was hopeful as a DC fan that it would be good and live up to my expectations, but it actually like exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
I mean, I would say like some of a lot of the like Marvel TV series that just didn't land. Like that was some of the
That
like
was shocking. Yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
like especially the early ones where you were like, okay, like like Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
How did that not land?
Yeah, like you had two really really solid
No,
characters to build
sorry.
off of, and then you had a Flag Smashers just annihilating the series.
Now, see, here's the thing. I get this. I know why that one didn't land.
Yeah.
That was the most obvious. You could tell all the stuff with the Flag Smashers was bad because of the re-edits and the retape or the reshoots.
Yeah.
That's why. That one's obvious. That one doesn't bother me as much because it's like, okay, they clearly had to shift the entire villain arc because of the global
COVID,
pandemic. Okay.
The one Secret Invasion.
Yes, the biggest surprise by far is Secret Invasion.
Yeah, especially because you had Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a TV series. When was the last time Samuel L. Jackson was on a TV series?
Agents of Shield for one
like,
episode.
but like legitimately, and wasn't just like a random cameo.
Amelia Clark.
Yeah, you had Amelia Clark. Although
Ben Mendelsohn.
her being mediocre didn't necessarily like surprise me a whole lot. But Ben Mendelsohn in there, and then having Don Cheadle, show up for a decent chunk
But
of it.
do you remember episodes 1 and 2? We were like, y'all, this is so good.
Oh,
and
and the downfall of the villain, like he was.
started out so good.
Yes, he was
and
so
then
good.
Yeah, that show might be the biggest
Criminal.
surprise in just how bad it got.
Yeah.
At least like other bad things like She-Hulk were bad the whole time.
Yeah.
Secret Invasion started good and then just fell off the cliff.
Yes.
Tailwind, dude.
Oh, God.
And there was expectation for it. You were like, you in your mind, you were kind of like, okay, we've had a couple little misses here and there, but I feel like
This is where we get back on
this
track.
could be back on track.
And then to take the title of Secret Invasion, which is like synonymous with the comic book arc, that is incredible.
One of
and
the
then
top stories,
Yeah, one of
yeah.
the top stories in Marvel Comics, and then just to crap all over it.
Yeah.
That was rough. That was rough.
Yeah, that was bad. Okay, here's a fun one. This is Marvel and DC. What is one Marvel or DC character that isn't mainstream that you would like to see get a movie or show?
Easy. Booster Gold. Done.
yeah.
Booster Gold. DC deserves.
Yeah, you've talked about this.
Deserves
Yeah.
his own show, I think a show would be the best for Booster Gold.
Yeah.
Which I think there was talks with James Gunn about doing one. I forget if it was confirmed or not, but it has to happen. And it involves time travel, T-Roll. So you will love that.
I
With
love
DC and time travel, your two favorite things in the whole entire world.
Woo!
I mean, I think it would be this person already technically had a TV series, but I think if it done better, like Iron Fist is super cool. I feel like he could have had a much better
We could take remakes. We'll
yeah.
accept the remakes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good. That's good, Shimano. Yeah. Okay. Okay, got a couple more Marvel questions, and we're pretty much done. Yeah, let's do this one. Okay. This is deep. This is philosophical, y'all.
Oh,
all right?
wow.
Here we go. Has Marvel Phase 4 and Phase 5 degraded your thoughts of the MCU and the accomplishments of Phases 1 through 3?
I don't think so. No, like Phase 1, 2, and 3. Like we talked about Endgame. Endgame is like unmatched.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that will ever replicate that. And I think that can stand alone. Like honestly, like if anything, Phase 4 and 5 shows that
Makes us appreciate it more.
it shows us that the 1, 2, and 3 were special. Like that's what it does.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but no, it doesn't degrade it for me.
Yeah, I think it just makes me long for those times, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
If anything,
The longing. Are you Wolverine caressing the picture frame? Yeah.
a little bit, because it really was like, I think at that moment, even though it very well, like, it was foolish to think of that as an idea, that you were always kind of just thinking like this is just going to keep on ramping up, like it's just going to keep on going and going and going forever and ever. But now looking back on it, you almost like you said, it almost makes you appreciate it better because of the fact that you're like, they were just so much at the top of their game.
Yeah, but then a lot of part of me is like, I'm very impressed on the fall from grace. Like, it's just like we went from like this is untouchable, like this is a league of its own, to now like, dude, this is just dog water. Like,
No, I disagree.
Oof.
See, that's the statement that I'm like, it's not all dog water. Like that's the problem I have with takes like that, where there are
no, trust me, there's been fewer successes though.
Oh, for sure, there have been. But
the successes have been good. They have
yeah,
been
but
good.
like, but just like for on this podcast, we mentioned No Way Home, and we've also mentioned Guardians 3.
Yeah,
those were in Phase 4 and 5,
and Wakanda Forever.
And Wakanda, and those are some of the best projects, right?
But I think
wasn't No Way Home was technically was that the last item of 3?
Yeah, actually it was. I think, wasn't it?
No, that was Far From Home. Far From Home was the last item of 3. That was after Endgame.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I think those would be it though. Then Loki. Yeah, you're right. Good point.
Yeah,
Good point.
but it doesn't.
Shang-Chi.
I think
Ooh, yeah.
that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
It's just that because we mentioned earlier, from like just about from Winter Soldier on, it was Grand Slam after Grand Slam, and if it wasn't a Grand Slam, it was like a ground rule double, or maybe a triple. Like they were just killing it. And I think I was talking to my brother-in-law off the pod about this, and it was like, here's the thing: you had, first of all, the peak, Mount Everest of Endgame, which again, I don't think we'll ever touch it. Then you have a freaking pandemic. You've had a writer's strike.
Yep.
You've had all the Jonathan Majors stuff.
Them trying to adapt to having something streaming
New
service.
mediums. Exactly, Amato. So it's like you have all these things working against them. I would actually argue it's pretty impressive that they've had as many good projects as they've had.
I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, I still think that it's a little sullied, but
No, it is. I'm just I'm messing with you. I'm mostly making a joke.
yeah.
I all I'm trying to say is I'm a little more in the middle. Like your statement was, it's not
water, yeah.
now it's dog water. It's like, dude, if you're just gonna say Marvel is dog water, then everything is.
Yeah,
because
there's some bright spots to dog water. There's some cool, refreshing licks.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. My dogs have their bowl on the ground over there.
Yeah,
you tell me if that looks good. Okay. So all I'm saying is, like, yes, they're not what they were.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the answer to this question. Okay. We were talking about Michael Jordan earlier. Okay. Does Michael Jordan's time in Washington affect the way we view his 6 championships in Chicago? The answer is no.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So no matter how bad She-Hulk or Secret Invasion are, it does not impact the way I view phases 1 through 3. So sorry about it.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I am right. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Last question. I think this is a perfect question. It's Marvel related,
Okay.
and I like this question.
Yeah.
Let's end on a real positive note. If anything, our, dare I say, success as a podcast, a majority of our top content, the majority of our favorite things we've done, exception of Andor, I guess, has mostly been around Marvel.
Yeah.
The original Taco Bell pitch that we gave Shamato was a Marvel podcast.
Yeah.
And then it adapted into more.
4.5 years ago. Yeah. The pitch. The pitch was
The
4.5
pitch.
years.
That's right. But this question I love to be our last question before we sign off. What do you love most about the Marvel Universe?
Oof. I think for me, the thing that I love most is that it brought characters that I knew from the comic books and wasn't so like keen on or knew a lot about, and they brought them like full front and center.
Yeah,
and
the insanity of what Iron Man is now,
correct,
to where he was in 2008,
correct,
is just like, it's mind blowing.
And it brought full life to these characters, and you became attached to them as characters. Like, I mean, like the fact that
And they were the leftovers.
Well, correct. Well, and the fact that Chris Evans knocked Captain America out of the park, which if not another team movie, is like branded into my skull, and the Chris Evans role in that,
hilarious.
And to see him as the one and only Captain America,
the moral leader.
Yes, the moral
guide.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the Avengers is just baffling to me.
Yeah.
And that shows like that's a testament to like the writers. That's a testament to the directors that they chose for these projects. Like I think just giving the creative team the tools they needed to be successful is just something that really stands out to me about why I thoroughly enjoyed Marvel.
And like to throw a little thing on about like the Marvel's direction, I think like the Chris Evans situation really shows like what the mentality was at the beginning of the MCU about where they went and where they attacked to their casting. So I think one way they can get back to the top is get back to casting people who they believe will be best for the character and not just necessarily
Big name.
Yeah, a big name. So it's okay to have like a big name as like, a villain or like, somebody who needs presence, but getting that person, that Chris Evans, that Chris Hemsworth, even Robert Downey Jr., although he had a name, he was recuperating at the time, so he wasn't as big.
His name was tarnished at the time.
Yes.
as Robert Downey Jr.
It was in the dirt.
Yeah.
When you're talking about dog water, it was dog water.
There you go.
But I would say like the fact that it's gonna sound corny, but like it essentially was one of the biggest catalysts to making nerd cool. Like
There
you
go.
are 100% right.
That's a good point.
Like,
that is so cool.
Like there had been comic book movies before, and there had been successful ones.
Batman.
Yeah, like all those, but it made it cool.
That's a good point.
The idea of it went from if you heard somebody was going to the new Batman movie, you're like, yeah, that'd be cool, but it's like, but now it was like you had to go to the next premiere.
Everybody was going.
Yes,
That's a really good point because you know what? It wasn't Star Wars that made nerd cool. It wasn't World of Warcraft that made nerd cool. It wasn't anything else. It was Marvel that did it.
Yeah.
And Harry Potter and other movies kind of had their moments, but
Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Lord of the Rings, right. There were other big releases, but they're like a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And like I remember a time pre-Marvel movie where you wore a Thor shirt and people were like, "Oh, what comic book shop are you going to?" Like, like that kind of thing. But you wear a Thor shirt now and you're like, "Oh, dude, Chris Hemsworth is the man." Like, it's like,
like
it's
any bro at the gym.
Yeah. It's essentially like wearing like I don't know, like you wearing a baseball hat. Like it's essentially become synonymous with like that idea of
so
like,
mainstream. Yeah.
So mainstream that it isn't necessarily like the character or the team name that's on there. It's just like he's like almost like you're representing a city or something like that. It's become like just so a part of culture. It isn't anymore really a statement on what you actually believe in a lot of ways. It's just a shirt to wear.
Yeah.
And it brings people together now.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It does, yeah. And I'm hopeful that they'll rebound.
It brought us together for 4 years.
It did.
So.
It did.
Yep.
My favorite thing about the Marvel Universe before we go, I would just say two little things that I think are significant. One, they're PG-13, which I know Deadpool Wolverine's about to ruin that. But it's okay. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Literally over a decade of movies that didn't have to cuss at you, didn't have to show a lot of gore, didn't have to show sex and nudity. They just focus on good stories. And because they're PG-13, just about anybody can watch it. I think that is amazing.
Yeah. And they're also not PG.
And they're also not PG.
Which
That's right.
makes them more accessible to like adults.
Yeah. It was perfect. They're perfect in that regard that they're wide reaching.
Made for everybody.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I love, and again, I made a reference to it off the pod last week, we'll pull the curtain back. So anybody listening to our X-Men 97 review, we had our friend Richie on the pod, but we had some technical difficulties leading up to it. And at one point, I made a comment because Justin's computer was giving us issues, and I made a comment to Justin. I said, it kind of reminds me of Endgame when Hulk can't Hulk up when Tony's asking him to, and they're on Bleecker Street, and he's like, dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the Wizard. And it's like, I felt like that with our friend Richie here, and I said that to you, and it's like, that's what I love about Marvel movies. All the quips.
Yeah.
All the fun little just references, jokes. They didn't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they did, they corrected themselves and made Thor Ragnarok. Like when the Thor: The Dark World was kind of dog water.
Yeah.
Let's not take it too seriously. Then they turn it into the best movie they ever made. And then they went a little too far with it in Love and Thunder, but that's okay. But just the
balancing act.
quippy nature
Yeah.
of Marvel is something that I've always really appreciated because you know what? At the end of the day, they're fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're heartfelt and they're great stories, but they're also just a ton of fun. And that's what I
Yes.
love, man.
Great characters, man.
Great characters, yeah. So
Well said. Well said.
Okay, boys. Well, this has been fun. Big shout out to everybody who wrote in. Thank you guys so much. I thought this was, I mean, hopefully people, if no one else enjoys this, I know the three of us did, just reminiscing here. Yeah. So, first 4 years in the book. Here's to another 4.
There you go.
What do you guys say?
Let's go.
You down?
Yeah.
All right. Just a reminder to come back next week. We're going to have an awesome Pokemon episode.
Yeah. Unite the kingdom, baby. Let's go.
The swords will be drawn once again. We're going to have a good discussion. And then after that, we're going to be reviewing Acolyte. And, yeah, we're going to have a lot of stuff to do this year. So stay tuned in. Share this podcast with your friends and subscribe wherever you listen. With all that in mind, for my good friends Sandy and Shamato, this is T-Roll saying thank you so much for listening to the Royal Geek Podcast. We will see you next time, you peasants.